Why should you start with self-destruction before achieving self-improvement? Well, that's because self-improvement's like masturbation. You always feel the need for more. When I was a teenager, I actually wanted to start improving myself, mainly, to impress girls. So I aimed to hit the gym, I wanted to be confident, yada yada, we've all been there. But here's the thing, I kept failing. To me right now, the reason was simple, but back then it was confusing as hell. So let me tell you why I failed. It's because I wasn't destroying the old me before I could be open to the idea of a new me. Stop me if I'm wrong. Sometimes you feel stuck, or you feel lost, or maybe even just a little bit desperate for change. Am I close to the mark? If so, it's because I've been there. But here's the thing, being able to change is not impossible. There's just a whole bunch of BS out there that's gonna get in the way and lead you down the wrong path. But thankfully, I'm here to give you a hand, because I've been there and done that and walked away with a t-shirt and a VIP pass to do it again. So let's talk about the illusion of self-improvement. Because here's the thing about it. In this day and age, self-improvement is everywhere. It's in the books we read, it's in the videos we watch, it's the influencers we follow. Hell, half the time it's even in the video games that we play. It's like this huge, shiny promise that if we just do a whole bunch of random crap, we're gonna become better versions of ourselves. I don't know about all of you, but none of that ever worked out for me. We've all had those times when we feel down on ourselves, or we're having problems, or we're confused, or we feel like crap. Now, in the past, I made a lot of mistakes in my approach, because I'd always try to make myself better by doing more exercise or reading more books. There were a couple times where I spent money I didn't have on courses that were promising to help me fix everything. It was like I was in search of a silver bullet to kill all my problems and make them go away. But usually, I was just looking in the wrong spot. See, here's the thing. We're all scared to have conversations with ourselves about ourselves, so we look at external fixes. Things like, I could change my habits, or maybe if I work harder, or I get fit, or I go on a diet, or maybe if I get lucky and win the lottery, then everything's gonna magically fall into place and I'll be happy. But you know what? The fact of the matter is that none of that's gonna make anything better. It's still gonna suck a big fat one. And there's a reason why. And that reason is because all of that external nonsense might make us feel good for a little bit, but it's still not going to solve the problem. A lot of times it's like getting stabbed with a spear, so we just put a tiny little band-aid on it, or we super glue it. I mean, hey, if we can't see the damage, it doesn't exist, right? But here's the thing. We all struggle. We all have difficulties. We all have things that are hard for us to do. And honestly, one of the biggest reasons behind that is because we learned it from somebody. Could be mom, could be dad, could be our friends, could be a TV character, a video game, a movie, society. But 9 times out of 10, the root cause of our own unhappiness is because it's us. I know, it sucks. Nobody wants to hear that, but this is where self-destruction kind of starts to kick in a little bit. Let me share a little story with you. I was dating a girl for about 2 years. It was a really good relationship. I really liked her. Things were going smooth, so I thought. So one day, she's hanging out at my house and she sits me down and she has a conversation with me and lets me know that she wants to break up. I thought things were going great. I thought things were smooth. I couldn't understand why, so I asked her, why? What am I doing wrong? She explained that anytime I shared things with her, like videos or content, she would pay attention to what I was saying and what I was sharing, and she would engage with it. But anytime she tried to get my attention to share things with me, my reaction was typically like, what? What do you want? I'm busy. I'm doing something. Can't you see that? And I never even really recognized that I was doing it. So I had to have a conversation with myself after she left. I had to say, okay, wow, am I doing that? And I recognized that I was. And I had to have that conversation with myself. I said, okay, hey, Chris, why are you doing that? And then I realized it wasn't even me doing it. That's what my dad had always done. That's the way my dad acted towards me. It's the way he acted towards my sister. And I started to recognize that part of me that was responsible for that behavior, I didn't like it. I didn't want it. It wasn't doing me any good. So I had to decide right then and there to get rid of it, to blow it up, to cut it out like a cancer, to remind myself consistently that was a problem, it wasn't a good behavior, it wasn't going to help me out, and I needed to move on. And once I recognized that self-improvement really starts from within, everything changed. I stopped looking for quick fixes. I started doing the real work. I started digging deep. I confronted my demons. I addressed the root causes for my own struggles. It wasn't easy. Sure as hell wasn't pretty. But at the end of the day, it taught me a very valuable lesson. And that lesson was to enjoy a little bit of chaos. I know, it sounds crazy, right? Okay, so hear me out. This idea kind of came to me when I was watching Fight Club. So the story follows this guy who's stuck at a soul-sucking job. He's surrounded by all kinds of meaningless crap, and he's just not feeling it. Sound familiar? Because for me, it hit a little too close to home. So this guy gets really tired of having to go through all the BS of modern life. It's really dragging him down. And he starts to get really sick and tired of the whole more stuff equals more happiness kind of mentality. In fact, dude gets downright disgusted by it. Now, he starts taking a look around and he sees how people are just obsessed with stuff, and their value in themselves comes from the things that they own. So what this guy does, he decides to kind of break out of that mold. He decides to embrace chaos and just be more spontaneous. And for this guy, it was a little unpredictable and a little sloppy, but that's the point. See, a lot of the problem is that we get hung up on who we are. I've always been this way. This is the way Dad does it. It's the way Mom does it. It's the way America does it, right? There's always something inside of us saying that we've got to do it this way because that's the way we've always done it. So being able to change things up a little bit, being able to embrace some chaos, or as I like to call it, spontaneity, can really help us break free of these molds that we find ourselves stuck in. But that's where it all begins. You know what? We've all got things going on inside, right? Believe you me, I've got my own fair share of insecurities, especially deciding to do, YouTube content like this to help people out. Fears? Oh yeah, definitely got plenty of those. Negative self-talk? Have you guys ever tried to get behind a microphone and talk to people? Yeah, it's pretty freaking scary. But here's the thing about it. If we really want to try to become the best versions of ourselves, then we're gonna have to deal with all that crap. I know. Running away is the easier thing to do. Live to fight another day, right? But is that really gonna do you any good? Because for me, the only thing it ever did is it snowballed my problems. They started out smaller, they got bigger, and they got worse. And over time, I was just smothered and drowned in them. And over time, I was really lucky because I had some people that were there to help me through it all. And it's for them, it's for their sake to repay the kindness that they showed me that I decided to do this in the first place. Digging deep and facing the things that cause us the most pain, that scare us the most, it's hard, it's terrifying, and that's something that I still fight with every day. And I know a lot of you do too. But here's where we have to start taking a stand. Because the commercials and the books and the TV shows, everybody's going to sell you on this myth of instant transformation. And I hate it so much. I hate it with a passion because it's garbage. Everybody preaches and talks about being able to just flip a switch and just be the best you that you can possibly be. God, I wish it was like playing D&D, right? Or video games, and we could just respec ourselves. How nice would that be? Just be able to, whoop, okay, cool. I got a character respec token. Let me just redo all my attributes and redo who I am as a person. But it doesn't work that way. It never has and it never will. Because the simple truth of the matter is that if you want to change, if you want to improve, you're going to have to do the work. You're going to have to put in the hours. And to be precise, you're going to have to sit down. You're really going to have to look at yourself. And you're going to have to ask yourself the hard question. Do I like me? Do I love me? Do I accept me? And if the answer to any of those questions is no, then find out why. It doesn't have to be anything super complicated in the beginning, just simple yes or no questions. Build up your ability to be honest with yourself. For me, it's taken months to get to a point where I'm even comfortable enough to do something like this. But it's all those little tiny baby steps that I took. It's all the support I had along the way that helped me get here. And if I can face my anxieties and the fears that come with doing something like this, then I know that every single one of you can too. You are all beautiful, unique people, so don't ever be afraid to sit down and have that conversation with yourself. Don't ever be afraid to eliminate those little things that aren't working for you or helping you out in the end. There's going to be hurdles, there's going to be challenges, but nothing worth doing was ever easy. Thanks everybody. I'll see you next time.